Is I am sorry to say, or I actually start this video out with some bad news. When it comes to snarled, lately I've been getting copyrighted from Studio 71. So this is the last snarled video you will see on this channel until they stop copyrighting me, because I do have permission to react to their videos, but they keep copyrighting me because it's signed to Bonus Studio 71. Now they're allowing my video to play, but they're getting money off a video that it's not getting money off of them at all. So no, you're already getting money from that channel. Why you monetizing the video I'm just reacting off of? My permission was to tell them where I got the video from, to link the original video, and that was it. To pretty much promote the channel. But since nobody from the Snarl team or Studio 71 has contacted me to say it was okay, I will not be doing their videos. Now you will see them on my stream, that's about it. You will not see them on my channel until further notice. So if I decide to want to do them again, even though they keep copyrighting me, then that might happen. If not, this is pretty much just the last video. So with that being said, we are gonna go ahead and what up, it's your girl Shay, and we're here today to get sassy, and not only sassy, show some love. This is the story called The Gator Man by Almendorf. Something scary, personal. I haven't checked their podcast yet, so this is a fresh new story that I haven't heard from their podcast. Usually I check their podcast at first. I try not to pay attention to the first story because usually the first story is the animation. So I like to have a genuine reaction with you guys. We're just gonna go ahead and get started. First off, this is mad loud.
I'm Markia. Want to hear something scary? The Gator Man of Elmendorf. Everyone knows to stay clear of alligators. This was the warning issued by police in Elmendorf, Texas. A string of missing persons led right to the bellies of local gators, all under one man's roof. This next story, inspired by a submission from Brittany, shows the terrifyingly true legend of Joe Ball. They called him the Gator Man, in hushed tones and darting glances when they dared to mention him. The town was Elmendorf, Texas, a rural and humid place, and everyone had a story to tell about its dark history, including me. At the end of my investigation on the area's missing women, there still wasn't a break in the case. It can be tough to be taken seriously as a detective if you're not a man. The bartender of the sociable inn poured me another drink as he leaned on his crutch. Don't mind them for being so cagey. The Gator Man makes everyone nervous. He dropped the bottle and one of the waitresses came over to help. He apologized and offered me a drink on the house, noticing that his bandages had bled through a bit. The bartender told me that he'd gotten into a scuffle with a rowdy patron the night before and ended up with a broken bottle to the ankle. Intrigued, I asked if the violent guest was a regular. The bartender shook his head no, and patted the gun on his hip, indicating he was ready if they came back. The waitress jumped in. I was so afraid, she said. The bartender had the reputation of a local hero. The parents of one of the youngest victims had suggested I go talk to him. When they needed help, the bartender had led the search for their daughter, and with a group of townsfolk, found the remains of her bloody dress near a gator pit. He had also stepped in to pay for the funeral costs, even though it was an empty casket. Joe Ball is a good man, they all said.
Was the brawl with the gator man at your bar? Because that looks like claws. And is this gator man an actual gator? A man that looks like a gator?
Later on, when the bar cleared out, the waitress slipped a note to me as I left. It read, "Go round back." I made my way along a hidden path and found an old wooden barn house. Stepping inside, I lit the lone light to dimly illuminate the darkness and covered my face. The light flickered and revealed the backwoods evil surrounding me that smelled of rot and the acrid must of swamp water. There was a man tied to a drain pipe. Muffled screaming came from his throat. Taking the gag off, he pleaded, "He has my sister." "Who?" I asked, ripping the rope off his hands. "Joe. It's Joe," he stammered, and I noticed the dried blood on his clothes. He must be the patron who tangled with Joe the previous night. The man explained that his sister had run off with Joe a few days earlier, and when he heard the description of the Gator Man's victims, he knew she was in trouble. He went to the bar to look for his sister when Joe took him out back and tied him up, ready to feed him to the gators. Suddenly, they heard the squeak of the old door. Joe had entered the barn with the waitress at his side. He had a gun to her head, keeping her captive. "Show them," he told her as she tossed a frozen limb into the pit. 2 gators jumped up to fight for the arm, quickly shredding it to pieces. They were...
Hi, excuse me, sir. Why do you have gators? And now I understand Gator Man. Why do you have gators? What is going on there?
hungry. "Don't hurt her," I said, realizing Joe Ball had charmed and misled the whole town. Stepping into the light, we saw him for who he truly was. Joe Ball, the Gator Man. "She's mine and your dinner," he said, menacingly nudging us forward. As we got closer to the pit's edge, the waitress pulled a glass shard from her dress and dropped quickly, knocking Joe over. She slashed the back of his knees, which sent the gun flying, and Joe fell forward. Grabbing the gun, I pointed it at Joe, letting him know he was under arrest. Joe sneered, "You'll never take me alive." He let himself fall into the gator pit, each one of his pets ripping into his body, and he laughed as he choked on his own blood. Before leaving with her brother, the waitress thanked me, even though it was her courage that saved us all. Sometimes all it takes is even the littlest spark of light to fight the monsters in the dark.
Who's gonna feed them gators now? And the waitress was the sister the whole time?
This December...
No, we don't need your ad. Stop trying to tell us stuff. So, the waitress was the sister. Joe Mo's been keeping her. And now that Joe has killed himself with the gators, how is that going to work? The gators will get hungry. So, and they do come up to land. They will feed. So how's that going to work? Yeah. Okay. Guys, if you like what you saw, check them out, please. Check the podcast out. It's something scary. Check Snarled's video out. Their channel in general. I'll put this video in their channel in the link description below. Check my gaming channel out, which I'll be posting more as soon as I can. I'm gonna be doing my podcast soon, so I'll be posting up 2 new episodes. And check my Twitch out, which I stream Saturday and Sunday. So twitch.tv/shayloves89. Follow me on Twitter if you want to, twitter.com/shayloves89. I'll post my Anchor. I am on TikTok, which is SHA3LUVS89. Yeah, you can follow me there if you want to. And I'll post my
This sound like what? 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 This